Pain, it hurts so much. Unforgettable pain permeates Zhang Yi's whole body. It's not a feeling but a reality that actually happened to him. At this time, he was once trusted by himself. Friends and neighbors who helped were trampled to the ground mercilessly. Fists, feet, and even sticks rained down on him. In these last days of scarcity, they didn't even care about Zhang Yi's help to them at the beginning. Moved to him. As he was dying, he vaguely saw that. The goddess Fang Yuking stood behind the crowd. With a pitiful look, he shouted vigorously. I asked him to open the door. You have to give me an extra share of the supplies. This is the woman who tricked Zhang Yi into opening the door and killed him. Zhang Yi looked at her with hatred and remorse in his eyes. You can only blame yourself for being too stupid. You are too kind to become a stepping stone for others in this apocalypse. How he wished everything could start all over again. At that time, he will no longer be merciful to anyone, will only live for himself. Zhang Yi soon went dark and lost consciousness. However, at the next moment, he suddenly opened his eyes and sat up from the couch. The whole scene I just experienced, the terrible pain is vivid in my memory. Zhang Yi panted heavily. His whole body was soon soaked in sweat. What's going on? Didn't I get killed by those animal neighbors? After regaining his senses, Zhang Yi began to look at everything around him. This place is no stranger to him. It's his own house. The comfortable temperature in the air surprised him. Because in December 2050 in the Western calendar, Blue Star affected by a supernova explosion 500,000 light years away. A global Cambrian storm is ushered in. Global temperature drop. The daily temperature in Tianhai City, where Zhang Yi lives, is 60 to 70 degrees below zero. The blizzard lasted for a month and flooded the entire city. It is said to be in the north of China. It even reached the terrifying -100 degrees. The whole earth was buried by ice and snow, and all kinds of creatures were extinct on a large scale. Even human beings died more than 95% in this disaster. Zhang Yi stood up, went to get a bottle of water from the refrigerator. Gaju drank half of the bottle. Although the temperature of the refrigerated water is very low, for him now, this water is pure nectar. In the last days, the only way for people to get water is to go on. Braving the extremely low temperature of -60 to 70 degrees, digging snow to melt it into water. This kind of homework can easily cause people to freeze to death. After Zhang Yi drank the water, he turned on his mobile phone and took a look. It shows the time November 12th. There's a full month until the end. Looks like I'm born again. Zhang Yi took a deep breath and soon understood what happened. The experience of that month cannot be a dream. Especially the pain of being broken down by others is too real. Zhang Yi raised his head. After the catastrophe, I am extremely fortunate in my heart. At the same time, his eyes flashed with an incomparably sharp light. He remembers the people who killed him back then. In this life, he must live a good life and never treat those beasts again. Send kindness, and on the premise of ensuring Yu's safety, he must take revenge on those beasts. But now Zhang Yi needs to consider first. How can I survive the end times that will come 1 month later? Live well. Zhang Yi's own living conditions are pretty good. His parents passed away at an early age, and he inherited a house in Tianhai City. 120 square meters. There are more than 2 million deposits in hand, if it seems relatively affluent in normal times. But the end of the world is coming, and there will be a big shortage of supplies all over the world. With this little money in his hands, it won't last long at all. After all, to survive alone, you need a huge amount of supplies. With the ability to prepare in advance, Zhang Yi not only wants to live. I also hope that the future life will have a certain quality of life. Diet and entertainment have to be balanced, otherwise the spirit will be destroyed after a long time. Crash and weapons are a must. Only then can he keep himself safe and complete the revenge on the neighbors at this time. A ray of white light suddenly appeared in front of Zhang Yi's eyes. He felt that his right eye was a little tired, so he stretched out his hand to rub it, but suddenly, a strange idea popped up in my brain. It seems that this ray of white light itself is a part of him, and the message of white light also appeared in his mind. With a thought in Zhang Yi's mind, his consciousness instantly entered the white light. As a result, go in and have a look. It turned out to be a huge white space. I don't know how big the area inside is, only a large blank space. This is a different space. It seems that after my rebirth, I have some special abilities. Zhang Yi's heart was overjoyed. It seems that the passing of gamma rays mutated his body. A supernatural power has been generated with this huge space. It's so much more convenient for him to store supplies for the Doomsday, but Zhang Yi wants to know how many things can be stored in this space. and is there any limit to the objects that can be collected? His consciousness immediately returned to his room. Then I began to try to put the things in the house into the space. At the beginning, it started from the teacup and the wash basin, and it was easy to put it in. Zhang Yi began to try to put all the big home appliances into it. Color TV, refrigerator, washing machine, computer, air conditioner, vacuum cleaner. The white space is open to all comers, and all these things are taken in. And as long as Zhang Yi has a thought, he can move things out of the space. Take on. However, some objects that are subjected to strong external forces and do not exist alone, it is difficult to enter the space. For example, he tried to dig a floor out of the ground, but nothing happened. Different space seems to have a lot of rules I need to explore slowly. But just this huge space that can accommodate objects. It allows me to store a huge amount of resources. He licked his lips and had a daring plan in mind. Zhang Yi works as a supervisor of the South China warehouse of Walmart supermarket. Walmart, as the world's largest supermarket, has the goods it should have. Everything. It has 3 huge warehouses in central China, South China, and North China. The size of these 3 warehouses is terrifying, especially the warehouse in South China. It will be completed in 2040, 1,500 meters long and 720 meters wide. It covers an area of over 1 million square meters. It is the largest warehouse in the world. It was once hailed as the 8th wonder of the world by the president of Walmart Greater China. Of course, only the 7 wonders of the world are recognized, and the 8th wonder is self-evaluated as many as thousands. The area and storage capacity of Huanan warehouse. It is indeed the best stock in the world's warehousing field. It can supply the consumption of tens of millions of people in several cities for a week. That is to say, as long as Zhang Yi empties out all the supplies in a warehouse, move it to his own space. So let's not talk about it forever. Even 10 lifetimes would not be enough to use up so many supplies. The most important thing is that Walmart's quality control is very strict. There are no low-grade miscellaneous goods in the warehouse. Whether it is food, department stores, or luxury goods, they all have a good reputation. Big brand. If Zhang Yi can empty out the Walmart warehouse, not only do you not need to worry about the materials coming in the end times, and live very cheaply. Zhang Yi, as the supervisor of the warehouse, monitors every shelf in the warehouse. Equipment staff scheduling is extremely familiar, and want to evacuate the warehouse. It's definitely not a difficult task for him. After making up his mind, Zhang Yi felt a lot more relaxed. Tilda at this moment, Zhang Yi's stomach let out a cry of protest. Zhang Yi rubbed his belly and glanced at the braised chicken and rice on the table. Zhang Yi touched his chin and hesitated for a while, finally shook his head with a smile. Choose to give up eating takeaway. In another month, it will be the end. Otherwise, there will be no chance in the future. Why are you still being so stingy to yourself? He survived a month of cold and hunger, desperately looking forward to some hot and delicious food at this time. Why keep money? Wait until after the end of the world, the money becomes waste paper. It's better to spend all of it now, so as not to waste Zhang Yi's cool turnaround. Going to find a high-end restaurant that I was reluctant to go to for a good meal.